Hey guys, Eric Dubois with edpbeats.com, and what we're going to be talking about today is workflow. Because as a musician, as a producer, as an artist, the way we make money is by making music. So if we can speed up the process in making music, we can make more money, logically. If it takes us a month or 2 months to make a song, or we can't even finish the track, we get bored of it, we throw it away, it makes no sense. So I'm going to show you guys 3 tips that help me speeding up the process and getting me finishing tracks in no time. I'm not going to say no time, but way quicker. So we can't really speed up the creative process. The creative process is the creative process. Every artist has his own way of making music and being creative and getting into that flow. So that's something that you can't really speed up. But all the other things around it, all the technical side of it, finding your reverb, going through your samples, exporting your songs, going into your library, I mean, all that kind of stuff, we can speed up as much as we can in order to be able to speed up our tracks and to get our tracks done with the motivation as high as we can. So the first tip I'm going to show you guys is creating a default template. So this is an Ableton. So I'm going to show you guys right here what happens when I open up my Ableton. So this is how it looks. It doesn't look like any of you guys because this is my default template. So in Ableton, whenever I start it up, it's going to pop up like this because I know I'm going to need these amount of MIDI tracks, this amount of audio tracks. I have my recording track already set up, resampling, my drum groove, my sweeps. I also even have, if I click on my sweeps, for example, I already have my effects already set up, ready to go. So that speeds up my process so much. All right, so this is usually how it looks when you start up Ableton. You just have 2 tracks, an audio and a MIDI track. So what we're gonna do, instead of creating a new track, creating a new MIDI track, going and looking for the EQ, going and looking for the reverb, going and looking for this and that, it's just a waste of time. It doesn't look like a lot because you know where it is and you're pretty quick. You can get it done in like 3 or 4 seconds, but still 3 or 4 seconds on every track. You have 40 tracks. I mean, it adds up. So let's get everything ready to go straight from the start so you can just get into your creative process right away. So in order to make a default template, just create however you want it to be. So I want at least, let's say 4 audio tracks. So 4 audio tracks, I like them to all be the same color. So I'm gonna put them all purple, just for the example. And I'm gonna create also 4 MIDI tracks. Same thing. I'm gonna keep them all the same color in blue. And that's how it sets up. What I want you guys to do now is let's look for example, I know you're gonna need an EQ. So let's get the EQ in. EQ 8, all right, already set up, ready to go. Then what else could you possibly need? Your master, I know that I like to have the W1, I'll take that off. Take this, I'll keep the EQ, and I'll also keep a multi-band right there, and then let me put in a limiter as well. All right, so that's my basic master channel ready to go. Turn all these off, because I don't need anything yet. And then there we go. So this is my perfect setup for me when I start anything. So the way to get this done, to save this as a default, is you're gonna go up here to your preference. You're gonna go into File Folder and save current set as default. And that's what we're gonna do, save. Now it's gonna ask you, I'll write the default set I already have, yes. And there we go. It's set as the current default. So now if we close Ableton, don't save, and I open back up, it's gonna take some time because it's screen recording. All right, now open back up, and there it is. Exactly how I left it. The browser open, I was selected on this track. It's exactly how I left it when I saved it as a current default. And that's time saving. Now also a big tip, once you make your default template, let me show you guys, save it. Save it as your default template. So you see here, I have the default template. So you're gonna click on that and no, don't save. Time for it to load up. That screen recording is crazy. And there it is, it's already, that's how I like my set to be. So I'm gonna recreate it nice and tight like I want it. I always like to start like this. I always like to start straight off from the drum rack. That's pretty much how I like it. So I'm gonna do it again. live preference, file folder, save current set as default, okay. And then we're done. Give it one more try, see how it goes. Turn off, quit Ableton, open Ableton. Cypress and mate. Patreon guys, if you guys don't know what mate is, it's this tea. It's the best. From Argentina, it's the best. Drink it all the time. And there it is. So it comes back up exactly how I said it, and that's my default, and I'm ready to go straight on. Now the second tip is, instead of going through a bunch of different sounds, a bunch of different kits, a bunch of different instruments that you don't really know, you've made tracks before. There's sounds that you like. There's a snare that you like. There's a special kick that you like. There's a special chord that you like. Save them. Keep them in your library. Make a folder dedicated to your sounds and what you like to hear, and keep them in there. And like that, you can just go and get them. So I've opened a project that I'm working on, and I'm going to show you guys how to save an entire instrument so that you don't have to redesign it again and redo it again. So this is just a really basic synth, basic saw synth with an EQ, with a little auto filter and an auto pan going on. So there's a bunch of stuff that I'm not using, so I'm going to get rid of all these, get rid of this, clean it up a little bit more, nice and tidy. All right. So the way you can save a synth or any type of instruments that you create, or a drum rack that you create, is what I like to do for synths is I'll take all the effects and the instrument, I'll group it, hide all of these, turn on the knobs, and there we go. This is our instrument. So I'm going to call it real quick EDP. This song was called Dreamer, I think. So Dreamer, EDP Dreamer chord. Okay, done. Now I open up my browser. Here I have a folder called Eric Dubois Prod. This is where I have all my sounds and things like that. So I have my drum racks, effect racks, Eric instruments. So I have my plugs and pads and chords, my plugs, my subs. So here I'm gonna just take this synth, drag and drop it inside my pads and chords folder. Dreamer chord, that's exactly it. Done. And there it is. So if I open a new MIDI track, right here, and I take my Dreamer chord and I drag it on, there it is. It's already ready to go. So that's exactly the same setup that I had it when I worked on this track. And so I have that sound right away ready to go. I don't have to re-go through all the creation process and all that waste of time recreating a synth that I already made. So I might as well just, takes me 2 seconds, group them up, slide them in my project, in my library folder, and then we're good to go. The third tip on saving time and bettering your workflow is to not get stuck anymore spending hours tweaking a bass sound and or trying to find the right hi-hat or the right snare and trying to layer different things together. You can spend hours and hours stuck on that, just tweaking it, and your day just flies by. What I do, and this is a tip that I've learned from Il Gates, so I'm gonna link the video below. Il Gates made a video on 5 workflow tips to perfect, and you guys really should check that out. It's a really cool video. And one of his tips said to put a timer. So he has an actual kitchen timer that he sets for 5 minutes and works on the bass. So for 5 minutes, he's gonna be knocking that bass, sound designing it, trying to work on fine tuning it, and as 5 minutes are up, move to something else. So that's how you're gonna speed up your workflow, and that's how you're gonna stop yourself from getting stuck in that rut of just working on sounds and just trying and just spending hours and hours on the same thing. So the way I do it is I have my cell phone, I set myself 10 minutes on the bass or 5 minutes on some chords or 5 minutes on arrangement, and then I move on to something else. That's one of the best tips that I've learned in the past year or so, is set yourself timers, set yourself a deadline to finish your track, and just, you know, at one point it's done. You just gotta say it's done and you gotta send it off. So that's the thing. So those were my 3 tips in order to better your workflow and to save time to start finishing more tracks. I hope you guys enjoyed these tips. If you don't know, I just signed up to Patreon, so I have a Patreon page. That's why right underneath this camera, I have the Patreon cam. Only on Patreon, they can see the full unedited YouTube video so that they can really have all the details and everything that I do while making these videos. All the steps that I messed up, all the small little details that are in there that you guys don't see is on Patreon. So Patreon, Eric Dubois, the link is gonna be below. Check it out. Really appreciate your support. And if you want some cool extra features like some sound packs or some behind the scenes of all the videos and extra tips that I give throughout the video to them, that would be awesome. So thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if I was a little too quick. I can always answer any questions. And yeah, I'll see you guys next Friday. Peace.